Have you ever had that feeling like you're climbing a ladder as fast as you can, only to get to the top and realize it's leaning against the wrong wall? Yeah, that feeling of career dissatisfaction is incredibly common. So today, we're going to demystify a really powerful tool for finding the right wall, career counseling. But I want you to forget everything you think you know about it because we're about to reframe this entire conversation.
Oof, does that sound familiar? I mean, from the outside, everything looks perfect, right? You've checked all the boxes that society tells you to check. But inside, there's this growing sense of emptiness, a feeling that, something is just missing.
Or maybe it's not some slow burn, but a sudden shock. A life event, like getting laid off, can just throw everything up in the air. The path you thought was so secure suddenly crumbles underneath you, and you're left feeling totally lost and adrift.
And then there's this one, this feeling of being stuck. You've got the opportunities, people believe in you, but that drive, that passion, it's just gone. It's such a confusing place to be, and it's often weighed down with this heavy sense of guilt for not feeling the way you're supposed to feel.
So when we feel this way, dissatisfied, lost, stuck, our first instinct is to scramble for a quick fix. We start looking for the right answer. We focus on all the external stuff, like, I just need a bigger salary or a better title or a more prestigious company. We think that will solve the problem. But what if we're asking the wrong question entirely? Modern career counseling says it's not about finding the perfect job out there. Nope. It's about something much, much closer to home. And honestly, this simple shift is a total game changer.
There it is. The real goal is to turn the spotlight away from the external job market and point it right back at your internal landscape. It's a huge paradigm shift. Instead of trying to fit a square peg, that's you, into some round hole, the first step is to actually understand the unique shape of your peg.
So what is career counseling really? Well, think of it as a collaborative process. And the key words here are collaborative, which means you're in the driver's seat, and empowers, which means it gives you the tools. It's not some test where you get a score and they spit out a job title. It's a guided journey of self-discovery.
And this is the most empowering part of all. The counselor isn't a magician with a crystal ball who just gives you all the answers. They're more like a guide, a facilitator. But you, the client, you are the expert on your own life. You hold the power, and you're the one who makes the final call.
So, how does this journey actually work? Well, it's not just talking. Career counseling uses a whole toolkit of structured exercises, and they're all designed to build your self-awareness from the ground up, helping you answer some of the most fundamental questions there are.
It all starts right here. Before you can ever know what you want to do, you have to know who you are. It's about peeling back the layers and uncovering what genuinely lights you up, completely separate from the expectations of your family or your boss or even yourself. Okay, one really powerful tool is this enjoyable events exercise. Now, what's so clever about this is that it asks you to look at your entire life, not just your work. By listing any positive experience and then figuring out the common threads, maybe it was problem solving or creativity or being part of a team, you start to reconnect with your authentic self, free from the pressure of a job title. And similarly, the satisfying achievements exercise helps you build a real inventory of your skills and strengths. You list things that you're personally proud of, not what impressed other people, but what gave you that sense of satisfaction. This is huge because it often uncovers all these overlooked skills, and it's just a fantastic confidence booster. Now, through exercises like these core patterns start to emerge. One popular framework actually identifies 8 career anchors, and you can think of these as your non-negotiables for work. Are you driven by a pure challenge? Or maybe you need security and stability, or perhaps total autonomy and freedom. Finding your primary anchors is like discovering your professional North Star. It's the internal compass that's going to guide all your career decisions.
Okay, so once you have this rich new picture of yourself, you know your skills, your values, your drivers, how do you connect that to the real world? This is where all that self-insight starts turning into actual, real-world options.
The first step is to get honest about what's holding you back. And we all face a mix of external constraints, the economy, family needs, stuff like that, and internal ones. But here's the thing. These internal constraints, our self-limiting beliefs and our fears, they are often the much, much bigger roadblock.
This is such a classic internal roadblock. I mean, this single belief can keep a person paralyzed for years. A huge part of career counseling is learning how to spot these things, question them, and then finally move past these powerful, invisible barriers.
So with this new clarity, the exploration part becomes so much more targeted and effective. You brainstorm ideas that actually align with who you are, you research them, and then, and this is key, you do what's called information interviewing. You just talk to people who are actually doing those jobs to get the real story. And all the while, you're testing these ideas against that list of job satisfiers you uncovered earlier.
All right, you've done the deep work of self-discovery. You've explored the options. Now it's time to actually make a move. But how do you turn all this insight into a concrete action plan that doesn't feel completely overwhelming?
Well, you do it by using proven tools, like SMART goals. This isn't just about making a vague wish. It's a whole framework for creating clear, effective, and achievable objectives. It gives real structure to your ambition.
And this just illustrates perfectly how it works. You don't just say, I want a new career. You define a specific goal, and then, and this is the most important part, you identify the very first tiny step you can take. A big, scary change all of a sudden becomes a series of small, manageable actions. It's all about building that momentum.
So, in the end, career counseling isn't really about finding some final destination. It's about giving you a map and a compass for what is a lifelong journey. It empowers you to navigate the changes, to make conscious choices, and to build a working life that isn't just successful on the outside, but is deeply, deeply meaningful on the inside. So, the only question left is, what's your next step?